Hi guys, my name is Abigail Redman, and this is a yoga class for your feet. I can't tell you how many requests I get for yoga for feet. And of course your feet are connected to your ankles, which are connected to your legs, which are connected to your hips. So when we work our feet, we really work the whole body, but especially the whole lower body. So this will be a great class, not only for feet. Let's say if you struggle with plantar fasciitis, or you have a Morton's neuroma, or if your feet are just sore and tight. But it will also be a great class if you have tight calves, if you have tight hamstrings, if you are a runner or a walker, or you ride your bicycle quite a bit. It'll be a great class for loosening up the lower body. Great too for those of you who suffer from restless leg syndrome. So this will be a great overall conditioning class for our lower body. You might notice that I'm starting in a chair, and I'd like all of us to start in a chair. If you have a little folding chair like I do, that's a great option. If not, pull up a stool, find whatever you have nearby, and I'll let you know what other props we'll be using today for this practice. You'll need, if you have them, 2 yoga blocks, and if you don't own yoga blocks, great substitutes would be big, tall, sturdy water bottles, like Nalgene bottles, or 2 paper towel rolls that haven't been opened up yet, so they're still covered with the plastic. Okay, so we'll use those a little bit later on. You're going to want a blanket. I have a yoga blanket here, but you might grab a bath towel. That would be fine. Anything that can cushion your knees later on. I have a yoga strap, and if you don't have a yoga strap, grab a tie of a bathrobe. That would work just fine. Okay. Then you'll notice I have a couple of balls here. We're going to start with a foot massage, and I have some choices for you. So if you have pretty tight, sensitive feet, a tennis ball is going to be your best choice. If your feet are kind of an average tightness or tension, a lacrosse ball or something a little firmer than a tennis ball would be great. And those of you who really like getting a deep foot massage, a golf ball would be a really great option. So we'll use those. And then as an option here, what I have is a yoga sandbag. Probably you don't have a yoga sandbag at home. I could understand that. So if you don't, grab a bag of rice or perhaps a bag of flour, but it will need to be really sealed really well in a tight Ziploc bag so you don't spill anything, okay? And if you don't have anything like that, don't worry about it. You'll make do without that. So we're going to start here seated in our chair, and you're going to grab whichever ball you decided on, tennis ball or something like a lacrosse ball or a golf ball. I'm going to use the lacrosse ball, which is the medium density. You're going to sit in your chair and set your ball down on your yoga mat, okay, or on the floor in front of you. And we'll let it rest there just for a moment. Sit up tall so you're not leaning back in your chair unless you absolutely have to. Sit up tall, relax your shoulders, rest your hands on your thighs. Look to see that your feet are about hip distance apart and your knees are stacked over your ankles. And close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in. Fill up your belly with that breath. And then open your mouth and let it go, sighing it out. And once that breath is gone, make sure it's fully gone, squeeze it out, then do it again, another deep breath in. Feel your rib cage expand in all directions. And when you're sure you're full with the breath, open your mouth again, let it go. Close your lips, squeeze it out, navel draws in and up. And then one more time like that, a deep breath in. If you can, pause and hold at the top this time just for a moment. And then open your mouth, let it go. Now you're going to begin to breathe in and out through your nose. And we're going to take that ball underneath the sole of the right foot, and as we're breathing deeply and sitting up tall, you're going to start to rock your right foot back and forth over that ball. Now, you get to decide how much pressure you put on the sole of your foot. So, of course, that ball is giving you a massage on the sole of your foot. You can start to play around a little bit, explore, see where you have little pockets of tension. You might start to roll in a little circle right around the arches of your feet. You actually have 3 arches in your feet. That highest arch, the inner foot, Then you have a central arch, and then an outer or lateral arch of your foot. So you can rock back and forth a little bit and see where you find tension. You might not be able to control the ball well enough to guide it very precisely, and don't worry, we'll be doing a foot massage in a number of different positions with this practice. So if you're not getting the best massage that you can possibly imagine right now, that's okay. We'll come at it from a number of different angles. But we're looking, first of all, to create some blood flow in the sole of the foot. You're taking slow, deep breaths in and out. And some awareness in the sole of the foot as well. We're looking to create some awareness. You have thousands of nerves, almost 8,000 nerves in the sole of each foot. Very similar to the number of nerves that you have in the palms of your hands. Think about how sensitive your hands are and how many things you use your hands for during the day. Your feet evolved to be that sensitive. But for many of us, so you're still breathing deeply and rocking your foot back and forth on the ball. For many of us, we stuff our feet in shoes for most of the day, and they don't get the vigorous workout that they really evolved in order to handle. Another deep breath in and out, working on the sole of this right foot. Good. And then gently set your foot down, and we'll move the ball over to the left. Put it underneath the left foot. Again, sit up tall, but relax your shoulders. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze so you can focus on your breath. And start to roll your left foot back and forth across that ball, looking for little pockets of tension. So you get to explore. You might find tension around the balls of your feet right below your toes. You might find tension in your heel, and if you can control that ball and get a good massage there, go there. I usually store up tension in that highest arch, that innermost arch in my foot, so I tend to spend a lot of time working there. So slow, deep breaths. You're not necessarily looking for the deepest, most intense massage you could possibly manufacture here. Instead, you're looking for some gentle sense of opening, sense of warmth, starting to loosen up the fascia. Fascia is the thick connective tissue that holds the sole of your foot together. Fascia runs all through our bodies, but when we're talking about the plantar fascia, that's the fascia on the sole of the foot. And that fascia can get inflamed. Plantar fasciitis is a very common disorder for many people's feet. So if you do feel a lot of sensitivity, go very gently, very, very gently. You're not trying to create a flare-up. You're looking to release tension and not create more tension. So while you're here, remember to keep breathing deeply, exploring those little pockets of tension in the sole of your foot. And then let's take one more round of breath, working on this side. Good. Then gently step your left foot off the ball. Grab your ball, we're done with it, so you can set it off to the side, out of the way. We'll come back to our chairs in a little while, but for the moment I'm going to fold mine up and slide it out of the way. And we're going to find our way down onto hands and knees on our mat. So you might find that your knees are tender when you come down onto your knees, and a blanket would be a great option for you. You can open your blanket up across your mat and kneel on it. Come onto hands and knees. We're going to do what I call toe salutations here. So you're going to come onto hands and knees, tabletop position. So your body's making the shape of a table. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, spread your fingers wide. Stack your hips over your knees and make sure your knees are about hip distance apart. And we'll start with some simple cat-cows. So as you inhale, let your belly drop gently toward the mat. Lift your sit bones up, lift your chest, draw it through the gateway of your arms, and lift your chin slightly. As you exhale, curl your tailbone under, squeeze your belly around your shoulders, spread them apart, and tuck your chin into your chest. So now we'll move as a flow. Inhale and gently arch your back, and exhale. Gently round your back. Slow, deep breaths in and out through your nose as often as you can. But if you need to breathe through your mouth, that's absolutely fine. And we'll take 3 more rounds like this. Inhaling, you can move at your own pace with your own breath. Exhaling, squeezing all of that breath out, stretching your shoulders apart. Now we're warming up the spine. And bringing some awareness to the core muscles. Inhale. And exhale. Now we'll start to move into our toe salutations. So as you inhale, come to a neutral spine and curl your toes under. As you exhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your knees and see if you can sit your hips back on your heels. Don't go until you feel pain. So if you feel pain, stay forward as far as you need to. But if you can sit back and start to stretch the soles of your feet, this is great, great work for that plantar fascia. So stay there and breathe, or if you're not feeling much of a stretch at all, walk your hands up onto your thighs and sit back and really stretch. And if you're sitting all the way up, stretch your arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart. If you sat up, come forward, walk your hands back to tabletop position, point your toes. Now lift your feet a little bit, wiggle your toes around in space, and then very gently tap the tops of your feet on your mat. Don't bang like you're trying to give yourself a bruise, just a very gentle tap. Good. Now from here, I want you to wiggle your knees a little closer together and stack your right foot on top of your left foot. Don't cross your ankles, but instead get the bony part of the top of your right foot into the arch of your left foot. Now we're going to start shifting towards child's pose. If you need to widen your knees, go ahead. If you can keep your knees narrow, fine, but shift back slowly. If you have trouble with your knees, don't go all the way until you feel pain. Go back a little bit of the way. If you can go all the way back to child's pose, bow your forehead down and rest. But we're looking for some pressure as the bones of the top of the right foot push into the arch, that soft arch of the left foot. So if you're not feeling much pressure, once again, walk your hands in towards your knees. And you can stay like this with your hands forward and part of your weight shifting back, hips onto heels. Or if you can tolerate the pressure, then walk your hands all the way up to your thighs and sit up. If you're sitting up, inhale, take your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Come forward. Walk yourself to tabletop, uncross your feet, pick your feet up, wiggle your toes. So second side, cross your left foot on top of your right foot. Once again, don't cross your ankles, but stack your feet up. Then shift back, start with child's pose. And you can bow your forehead down and stay here in child's pose. Or walk your hands part way in and shift your hips part way back onto your heels. See how that feels if you need to readjust your feet so you're starting to feel some pressure from the left foot pushing down into your right arch spine. And if you want to walk all the way up, walk all the way up. If you're up, inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Come forward again, hands and knees. Uncross your feet, wiggle your toes. Good, we're going to do it again. Curl your toes under, big inhalation. Exhale, hands back towards your knees, sit back on your heels. So you know the drill now. You can stay forward and put a little bit of weight back, or you can walk all the way up. Don't walk all the way up and sit on your heels if you're feeling pain. Inhale, take your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart, hands back to the mat. Walk it forward, hands and knees, uncurl your toes, wiggle them, and then just gently tap the tops of your feet on your mat. Now stack your right foot on top of your left foot. Shift yourself back to child's pose or part way to child's pose. Or walk your hands in towards your knees so you're partially supported by your arms. Or sit all the way up on your heels. And if you're up, inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Hands to the mat, hands and knees, uncross your feet, wiggle your toes. Then left foot stacks on top of the right foot. Shift yourself back part way to child's pose or all the way to child's pose. Or walk your hands in towards your knees and sit back part way on your heels. Or walk your hands up to your thighs, sit all the way up. If you're up, inhale, arms out and up. Hands to your heart. Hands to the mat. Uncross your feet, wiggle your toes. Now we're going to mix it up a little bit. Curl your toes under, walk your hands back towards your knees. And roll to the balls of your feet. Widen your knees a little bit so your arms can come inside your knees. Now, like a child's pose, bow forward, tuck your chin, but at the same time stretch your heels down toward the mat so you're starting to open up your calves. Once your knees are wide enough for your chest and arms to come through, then squeeze your knees back in. Heels stretch down, tuck your chin, forehead stretches down, arms reach forward to help counterbalance the weight. Take another deep breath in and out. And walk your hands forward, put your knees back down, come forward onto hands and knees. Uncurl your toes for a moment, wiggle your toes out, and tap your feet on the mat. And we're going to add one more pose into our salutation, and that will be a downward facing dog. So walk your hands forward at an angle. Take your hands shoulder distance or even wider apart. Spread your fingers. Push down into the base of your index finger and externally rotate your outer upper arms like you're trying to pinch a pencil in your outer armpits. And curl your toes under. Take a big inhalation. Exhale, shift your hips back towards your heels, lift your knees, drop your head, and start to stretch your legs out as long as you can without rounding your back so your spine stays nice and long. Now we're going to walk in place. Bend your left knee deeply, stretch your right heel down toward the mat as your right leg lengthens. Then bend your left knee deeply, bend your right knee deeply, stretch your left heel down. So side to side with your breath. Right heel stretches down, left knee bends. Left heel stretches down, right knee bends. Good, again, side to side. Walking your dog in place, lengthening your side body while you're here. Try to relax your neck, give your head a little shake no, a little nod yes. Keep pushing into the base of your index fingers while you keep your armpits lofty and your outer upper arms gently externally rotating. One more time, walk in place. And then we're going to do this whole series together. Lower down to your knees, keep your toes curled under. Take a big inhalation. Exhale, hands walk back to your knees. Stay partly forward, perhaps, or hands up to your thighs, sit up on your heels, or arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart, hands to the mat, crawl back to hands and knees, tabletop. Then uncurl your toes, wiggle them, and tap the tops of your feet gently on your mat. And stack your right foot on top of your left foot. Take a big inhalation, exhale, part way to child's pose, or all the way to child's pose. Or walk your hands in, part way towards your knees, or all the way up onto your thighs. If you're up, inhale, arms out and up. Hands to your heart. Back to hands and knees, back to tabletop. Uncross your feet, give them a wiggle, then stack your left foot on top of your right foot. Deep breath in. Exhale, shift part way to child's pose, or all the way to child's pose. Or walk your hands part way in towards your knees, or all the way up onto your thighs. If you're up, inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Walk it forward, hands and knees. Uncross your feet. Now we're going to go for a little squat. Curl your toes under, big breath in. Exhale, walk your hands back towards your knees, roll to the balls of your feet. Widen your knees, stretch your heels down. Bow inside your knees, tuck your chin, stretch your arms forward. Stretch your heels toward the mat. Breathe deeply, you're stretching out your spine at the same time. Tuck your chin and reach your arms forward. Big breath in and out. Bring it forward, hands and knees again. And now downward facing dog. Set your hands slightly forward at an angle. So your wrists are no longer right under your shoulders like tabletop, but forward 3 or 4 inches. Deep breath in, toes curled under, feet about hip distance apart. Exhale, shift your hips back, lift your knees up, drop your head down, stretch your heels down to the mat. Now this time, instead of walking in place, we're going to do both feet at the same time. So inhale, lift your heels up high, and lift your hips high, but keep stretching them back. As you exhale, stretch your heels down, try to lift your toes up off the mat. Inhale, heels lift high. Exhale, heels stretch down, toes lift up. Do that one again. Inhale, heels lift high. Exhale, heels stretch down. Good. Inhale, heels lift high. Exhale, lower to your knees. And if you're able, grab your yoga block and sit on it. So take your block between your feet for Virasana or Hero's Pose. Sit back. If you don't have a yoga block, grab a stack of thick books that's about 4 inches tall or so, and sit back on those books. Now, if you can't sit this way because your knees don't allow you to sit this way, I want you to sit on your chair again and grab your ball, and you're going to massage the soles of your feet with your ball once again. But if you can sit like this in Hero's Pose, reach your hands back, take the knuckles of your index and middle fingers, and you're going to start to rock yourself a little bit side to side as you massage your feet, digging the knuckles into the soles of your feet. Okay. So rock side to side, come back to those slow, deep breaths, in and out. And see if you can traverse the soles of your feet completely. So get as much contact between your knuckles and the soles of your feet as possible. Let's come down to the mounds of the toes, or the balls of the toes. Right under the toes, find your big toe ball and dig those knuckles in. If your knuckles aren't doing the trick for you, you could switch to your thumbs, the tips of your thumbs, and work your way around. Once again, if you can't reach your feet like this, sit on your chair. Don't strain your knees, because if you feel pain in your knees or pain in your ankles, then sit up on your chair and use that ball. Okay, work your way across the balls of your feet. Big toe ball, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. And now make little pinchers with your first finger and your thumb, and we'll work our way up the outer edge of the feet with those pinchers. So you're breathing deeply. Now, if your feet are in really close, widen your feet apart. See if you can grab around your heels with those pinchers and squeeze around your heels. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then let's take our knuckles again and work our way down the inner edge of the feet, so the highest point of the arch. And then we'll come back up the central arch, so right along the very center line of the sole of the foot, as high up to your heel as you can. And then along that outer edge. And that's our last pass. So take your time and pause this video if you need to take more time, if you've been sitting on your chair working massaging one foot with the ball, then switch sides and then come back. Come on forward to hands and knees. If you just sat in hero's pose, you can move your block out of the way. Come back to hands and knees and set up for down dog. So your arms go forward at an angle, spread your fingers, curl your toes under, deep breath in. Exhale, shift your hips up and back, lift your knees, drop your head, stretch your heels down, and walk in place one more time like that, stretching out your heels. So you might be stretching out your hamstrings at the same time if your hamstrings feel tight. You're looking for an inward lower back curve so you're not rounding your lower back. A little lift in your belly here so you've got some support from your core. Take another deep breath in and out. Now pause, inhale, lift your heels high again. This time exhale, lower back to your knees and then down onto your belly. So just find a comfortable lay down. We're going to meet in Sphinx pose, up on your forearms. So prop yourself up on your forearms so that your elbows are under your shoulders, your forearms are parallel. And take a moment to notice if you're feeling any compression in your lower back. So this is a little back bend. And if you're feeling compression in your lower back, push your pubic bone down and draw your low belly in, away from the floor. And that should take that compression out. If it doesn't take the compression out, then lower all the way down onto your chest and make a pillow rest your chin on your forearms. If you're okay up here in Sphinx pose, draw your throat back. Shouldn't feel any strain in your neck, so tuck your chin and look down if you're feeling strain in your neck. Push into your forearms to lift your chest high and try to drag your elbows back towards your hips so you feel your side body grow a little bit longer. Now we'll come back to the feet and the legs. Take a big inhalation. As you exhale, turn your chin to the right, bend your right knee, and point your toes like a ballerina. Then inhale, straighten your right leg, chin to center. Exhale, chin to the left, bend your left knee, point your toes strongly. Inhale, back to center. So side to side with your breath. Exhale, chin to the right, bend your right knee, curl your toes in, inhale, back to center. Exhale, chin to the left, bend the left knee, curl your toes in, back to center. Let's do another round. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. Good. And inhale. Good. Lower all the way down onto your chest. Take your hands next to your side ribs. Now push into the tops of your feet like you want all 10 toenails to connect down to the mat, and try to spread your toes apart as you do that. Hug your elbows in. We're going to do a couple of cobra poses here. So as you inhale, lift your shoulders up toward the ceiling, squeeze your upper back, and now lift your chest a little bit. Inhale, keep your chin low. Exhale, lower back down. Keep pushing your feet down into the mat. Inhale, lift up. If you're comfortable in cobra, nudge into your hands and lift a little higher, but if you feel compression, stay low. Exhale, lower back down. Push down into your feet, spread your toes. Inhale, lift up, shoulders away from your ears, chest is broad. Exhale, lower down. And one last time, inhale, curl up. This time, exhale, tighten your ribs and bring your belly with you. Press to hands and knees. And let's rest in child's pose for a moment. Widen your knees, bring your big toes together, shift your hips back to your heels, and bow forward. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you could stack your forearms up to rest your forehead. Breathe deeply here. One more breath here in child's pose. Come on up to hands and knees. Narrow your knees back in line with your hips and grab those blocks, or if you needed to supplement your blocks with other props, 2 big sturdy water bottles or 2 paper towel rolls that have not been opened yet. Step your right foot forward to a lunge. Look to see that your right knee is over your right ankle and in line with your right hip, and that your left knee, instead of being in a short stance, what I call a King Arthur stance, left knee, instead of being under your hip, make sure it's scooched back behind your left hip. Now your hands are on your blocks or your water bottles or whatever else you're using so that you have some height, because we're going to do a little work for our feet, as you could have imagined. So as you inhale, push down into the balls of your right foot and lift your right heel up high. Take a big inhalation. As you exhale, put your right heel down, push into the top of your left foot. So not toes curled under, but pointed like a ballerina again. Push, and see if you can elevate your left knee. If you can't get your left knee to lift, don't strain. Just push into the mat and resist. Okay? So now put that left knee down if you lifted it. We're going to move as a flow now. Inhale, right heel lifts up. Exhale, right heel comes down. Tighten your belly, push into the top of the left foot, and if you can, lift your left knee. Then left knee down. Inhale, right heel lifts. Exhale, right heel down. Left knee lifts. Good. Keep going. Inhale. And exhale. And 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. And last one. Inhale. And exhale. Now left knee down. As you inhale, wiggle your right foot forward. And then shift your hips back and walk your blocks or other props back so that your right leg can stretch out long. You might have to wiggle that right foot forward quite a bit. So you want your left hip over your left knee and your right hip in line with your right foot. You want to be able to lengthen that right leg as straight as you comfortably can and pull your toes back and up toward the ceiling. Okay? So if you're really flexible in your hamstrings and you're working with yoga blocks, you might go a little bit lower on your blocks, or you might not need blocks at all. But for most of us, some height here is going to give us room to maneuver that we wouldn't have otherwise. So use as much height as you need. Now, as you inhale, if you have a very tight stretch and you're feeling any kind of strain in the back of your knee, keep your right knee bent. It does not need to be all the way straight. But we're going to do a little pointing and flexing with this front foot. So as you inhale, draw your toes back towards your shin, spread them apart. Then as you exhale, rock your whole body forward until you can get the sole of your foot down to the mat or as close as you can. Then rock back again. Inhale, spread your toes apart. Exhale, rock forward, sole of the foot to the mat. So 3 more like that. Inhale. Nice deep stretch for the hamstring. Exhale. This is also great to do. Inhale, rock it back if you have sciatic pain, especially that runs down the thigh. Exhale, rock forward. So we're helping to glide that nerve through the muscles of the back of the leg. One more time. Inhale, rock back. And exhale, rock forward. Now inhale, rock back to that flexed foot position, and we're going to rock the foot a little bit side to side now. So as you inhale, rotate your toes out to the right, but try to turn from your thigh bone, so your kneecap turns with your toes. As you exhale, toes and kneecap back up toward the ceiling, then internally rotate, toes and knee to the left. So side to side now, inhale to the right. It's not important that you go very far, just a little will do the trick. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. And 2 more. Inhale to the right. And exhale to the left. And back to center. Inhale. Now we're going to stay for 3 more breaths. You're looking for a comfortable stretch in the back of the leg. So if you want to go a little bit lower now, take your hands down a notch or maybe even off your blocks. You can tuck your chin in, bow your head. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Good. If you went down low, come back up to your blocks, lift your head and chest, Bend forward into your lunge, and then drag that right foot back next to your left. Come off the blocks for a moment, and let's take a downward facing dog. Plant your hands, curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and just feel the difference in your two legs. You opened up so much tension in the back of that right leg. Feel how good that feels. Let's do the second side. Lower back to your knees, grab your blocks or whatever props you're working with, step your left foot forward into your lunge. Make sure your right knee's back behind your right ankle, your right knee's back behind your right hip, and your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Hands up on those props. As you inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, left heel down, push into the top of your right foot, scoop your belly back, and see if your right knee lifts. Don't strain. If you can't get it to lift, just push the top of the foot into the floor. Back knee down. Now as a flow, inhale, left heel lifts. Exhale, left heel down, right knee tries to lift, or it actually lifts. Right knee down, inhale, left heel lifts up, left heel down, exhale, right knee. 2 more like that. Inhale. And exhale. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And right knee down. Now you're going to wiggle your left foot forward as much as you need to so you can rock your hips back, walk your blocks back under your shoulders, and see where you need to be so that your right hip is over your right knee. Your left foot's in line with your left hip. Your left leg is as stretched, as straight and strong as it can be. If you need to have a bend in the knee, absolutely fine. But roll to your heel, draw your toes back toward the ceiling. So toes point up, kneecap points up. And we'll rock back and forth a little bit here. So take a deep breath in, spread your toes apart. As you exhale, rock forward. See if you can get the sole of the foot as close to the ground or touching the ground as you can. Then back again, inhale. And forward, exhale. And back, inhale. Forward, exhale. Feel that little internal massage in the muscles in the back of your leg. Back again, inhale. Forward, exhale. And 1 more. Back, inhale. And forward, exhale. Back again, inhale. And pause. Make sure you put a bend in your knee if you're feeling too deep of a stretch. We're going to rock side to side now. So as you inhale, you're going to externally rotate. Left toes turn to the left, but also your kneecap and your whole thigh bone. Exhale, back to center, and then to the right, toes and kneecap. So side to side, inhale to the left. Gently, gently exhale to the right. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. 2 more like that. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. And 1 more. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Back to center. Inhale. Then exhale. Lunge forward. Walk your blocks forward. Bring that left foot back next to the right foot. Then come off your blocks. Plant your hands for down dog. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Drop your head. Relax your neck. Stretch your side body long. Reach your heels down. Inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, lower to your knees. Bend your elbows, lower to your belly. Again, come up into Sphinx pose, up onto your forearms. Elbows under shoulders, forearms parallel. Take a big inhalation. Tighten your belly if you need that extra support for your low back. Exhale, turn your chin to the right. Bend your right knee. Point your toes strongly. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, look to the left. Bend your left knee. Now a little faster. Inhale, chin to the right as you bend your right knee, straighten the left leg. Exhale, chin to the left as you bend your left knee, straighten the right leg. Side to side with your breath. Breathing deeply here. You're feeling that low back compression. You're pushing your pubic bone down and lifting your deep belly up. 1 more round. Right knee bends, chin to the right. Left knee bends, chin to the left. Then left leg goes out long, chin to center. Lower all the way down to your chest, hands to your side ribs. Let's curl our toes under this time. Inhale, little baby cobra, lift your chest, shoulders back. Exhale, tighten your belly, tighten your ribs. You could press to hands and knees. Or if you want to challenge yourself, bring that belly with you, press to plank. And back to downward facing dog. Good. Now lower to your knees for a moment so that if, like me, you used a blanket, you can get it out of the way. Let's get that blanket out of the way. And then from hands and knees, walk your hands back towards your knees, roll to the balls of your feet. Keep your knees as narrow as your hips this time. Stretch your heels down, but at the same time, reach your hands forward, tuck your chin in, and round your spine, upper spine a little bit here. Reach your heels down, nice big calf stretch. 2 more slow, deep breaths, in and out. And then walk your hands in towards your feet, put your heels down, put your butt back behind you, come on up to stand. Give your legs a little shake. Feel how awake and alive your legs feel. Now you're standing at the back of your mat. Take your hands to your heart. Separate your feet hip distance apart. And as you inhale, lift your heels up high. As you exhale, put your heels down, lift and spread your toes. Again, inhale, heels up high. Heels down, lift and spread your toes. Let's add our arms. Inhale, arms come out and up. Hands to your heart, heels down, lift and spread your toes. Inhale. You might take your arms out to the side. My wall is here, so I can't do that. Exhale, heels down, lift and spread your toes. Do it again. Inhale, lift up high. Heels down, lift and spread your toes. And one more time. Inhale, lift up high. Heels down, lift and spread your toes. Now this time, inhale, lift your heels high, arms come out and up. Keep your heels lifted, hands to your heart. Exhale, take little tiny steps like a ballerina up to the top of your mat. Good, then put your heels down, give your legs a little shake. Good. I'm going to turn and face you. You can keep facing whatever direction you were a moment ago. So we're going to work a little bit on stabilizing our legs in tree pose. Bring your big toes together. You should feel how active your calf muscles are now after we lifted our heels and set them down. But notice too how active the arches of your feet are. So take your hands to your heart, lift and spread your toes, and feel how your inner arches lift. Put your toes back down. Try to keep that lift of your arch. And put a little bend in your right knee. Turn your right knee open to the right. Come up to the big toe of your right foot, and option 1 is to rest your right heel on your left inner ankle. You can stay like that, or pick the right foot up and rest it on your calf. And you might wobble a little bit, right? Trees aren't made of stone. They wave and flow, ebb and flow in the breeze. So let yourself wobble a little bit. Grab the wall or grab your chair if you need to. If you want to go a little bit further, reach your right hand down, grab your right ankle, and help that foot come up into your inner thigh. Then suction the two together. So try to continue to lift the arch on that left foot, your standing foot. Keep a lot of weight back in your heel. Now lengthen your spine. You can grow your tree if you want. Stretch your arms out and up. And if you really want to challenge your balance, start to slowly close your eyes. Don't close them all at once or you will fall over. And close them a little, close them a lot. You will wobble. Try to tone all the muscles of that standing leg. Keep that inner arch lifting on your left foot. Take another big inhalation. Exhale, hands to your heart, hands to your hips. Release your right hand down. Give your legs a shake. Then big toes together, hands to your heart. Lift and spread your toes. Feel how the arches of your feet are lifting. Then put your toes back down, but try to keep the arches of your feet active. Put a little bend in your left knee. Turn your left knee open to the left a little bit. Rest your left heel on your inner ankle. You could stay there. Or bring the sole of the foot up to your calf. Or reach down and help the foot come up into your inner thigh. Suction the foot and the inner thigh together if you went that high. Don't rest on your knee. Stay off your knee. Stay above it or below it. And then lengthen your spine. Try to lift the arch of that right foot. Keep breathing deeply. You can start to grow your tree if you want to, or if you feel more comfortable with your hands at your heart, that's fine. Relax your shoulders, but lengthen your spine. Now to really challenge your balance and work those muscles of the feet and ankles, start to close your eyes. Halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way, you are going to wobble. Hug your outer hips into the midline. Keep breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. One more big breath. Good, and hands to your heart, hands to your hips. Release your left foot down, give your legs a little shake. Okay, this next one is a fun one. You're going to make sure you don't have any props in the way that you can kick, because we're going to do a little leg swing with this one. This is a little curtsy move, right? So take your hands to your heart. Point your right big toe out in front of you. So you stretch your right leg out and point your toe like a ballerina. And as you inhale, you're going to sweep your foot over to the left a little bit. And as you exhale, you're going to semicircle it back behind you, slightly over to the left. Shift your weight back in space and bend both knees like a curtsy. Inhale, forward. And exhale, back, curl your toes under, curtsy. Weight in your heels. If you can add your arms, inhale, arms come out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So your arms might go wide. I've got stuff in the way here. Hands to your heart. So I'm taking mine forward, out, and up. And if you're getting the hang of things and you want to pick up the speed a little bit, go ahead. If that causes you to fall over, then keep it nice and slow. Okay, make sure you're moving your weight way back as you curtsy, so your knees are moving back in space and they're not pointing out in front of your toes. Last 3. And last 1. Good, and you're done. Feet together. Give your legs a little shake. And then turn around so that I have room to swing my leg here. All right, hands to your heart. So nice and slow, and just know that you can keep this as slow as you like the whole time. You don't have to move faster. Stretch your left foot out in front of you. Inhale, sweep it over to the right a little bit. And then exhale, semicircle it to the left, slightly over to the right. And then curl the toes under, shift your weight back, bend your knees. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, take it back, curtsy. And if you want to add your arms on, inhale. And exhale. And maybe you start to pick up the speed, so you're taking a couple of curtsies on an inhalation, a couple on an exhalation. Whatever you're doing, you should be having fun. Okay, so don't stress about it. If you're falling over, you're just working on those semicircles with a little bit of a curtsy at the end, and you might find you lose your balance. That's the whole point. As you wobble, your legs get stronger. So give yourself a chance to learn. Last 3. And 2. And 1. Good. And you're done. Give those legs a shake. Good. We're going to do one more standing calf stretch here. So you're going to grab your sandbag now. If you don't have a sandbag, your options were to grab a bag of rice or a bag of flour. Just make sure it's really tightly sealed. Or you can use your yoga block instead. Okay, so I'll show you. You're going to take your sandbag up to the top of the mat. Set it down horizontally. Move it back a little bit there. Then you'll stand behind it. So you might have your bag of rice or flour. And you're going to set the ball of your right foot on the sandbag and your heel on the mat. Just rest your hands on your hips. Keep your heel grounded and start to shift your weight forward. So this is what it would look like if you used a yoga block instead. Okay? It's a pretty deep stretch for me, so just be mindful of that. And you might have to buttress your yoga block up against a wall so it doesn't slide away from you. Okay? So ball the foot to your prop, heel to the mat. Start to shift your weight forward. Hips come forward, but your spine stays nice and long, so you're looking for a stretch in your calf. And you might be able to line both heels up evenly, so your feet are hip distance apart. You might have to keep that left foot a few inches behind your right foot, if your calves are really tight. Or if you're a little more open, you might start to creep your left foot a little bit forward in front of your right heel. Don't strain. And now breathe, relax your right toes. Lift your chest up and out of your pelvis as you soften your shoulders down. Try to relax around your right kneecap. Breathing deeply. Two more breaths. If your calf starts to let go, you might bring your pelvis a little bit further forward. Get a deeper stretch. And slowly shift back. Step off the sandbag, or your rice bag or flour bag or your yoga block, and step your left foot to your sandbag. So adjust it on your mat if you need to. And then see where you need to be for your stretch. So maybe your right heel needs to be back behind your left heel. Keep your feet about hip distance apart so you have support. Or maybe inch it forward a little bit so your heels are in line. Try to relax your toes, stay even in the ball of your foot so you're not all the way to the inner edge of the foot, not all the way to the outer edge of the foot. Heel is grounded, your kneecap, left kneecap relaxes, and then maybe your right heel starts to creep forward so you can shift your weight a little bit further forward to get a deeper stretch. So find what's right for your body and then breathe deeply, breathe deeply. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Last 2 breaths. If your calf is letting go, you're scooching your hips forward just a little bit more. And slowly step back away from your sandbag. You can move it off to the side and get it out of the way. Mine back over here. Good. Come up to the top of your mat. Take your hands to your heart. As you inhale, sweep both arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, bend your knees, and fold forward, drop your head. Take a big inhalation and a big exhalation. We're going back to down dog. So if you can reach your mat, plant your hands and step your feet back. If you need to come down onto hands and knees first, that's fine. Then find your way back into your downward facing dog. Once you're back, lift your heels high, inhale. Exhale, come to hands and knees. Lean your chest forward, bend your elbows, keep your ribs and belly tight, lower down to your belly. And one more time, come up into Sphinx pose, up onto your forearms. Now push your pubic bone gently down, lift your deep belly. Know that once again, if you're tight in your low back or you're just feeling tired, you're welcome to lower down to your chest, rest your chin, and work from there. We're going to do a quad stretch here. So if you're going to stay up in Sphinx pose, turn your left forearm parallel to the top of the mat. Left elbow under the left shoulder. Now bend your right knee, reach your right hand back, find your right foot or ankle and gently pull it in. So you might be doing this from down on your mat. If you can't reach your right foot or ankle, use your strap now. Find your yoga strap or the tie of your bathrobe, loop it around your foot and hold onto the strap instead. So if you're up here in Sphinx pose and you're a little bendier in your body, you might find that you can go a little deeper, start to pull your heel down. If your heel touches your right tush, your glute, then get the palm of your right hand on top, the sole on the upper edge, the upper portion of your right foot there, and start to rotate your fingers to the right and maybe forward. This is called full revolve. And it gives you an added inner shoulder stretch. It doesn't work for everyone's body, so you might just be reaching back and holding on where you can. Okay? So you're breathing deeply. Trying to even out the weight in your pelvis there, right side to left side. Lifting up in your low belly if you need to, for that extra support for your low back. Last 2 big breaths in and out. If you get too tired, you lower all the way down to your chest. One more breath. Good. Let go of that right foot or ankle or your strap. Bring your right arm around, lower all the way down to your chest. Rest your chin. Widen your knees a little wider than your hips and bend your knees. We're going to windshield wiper the feet here side to side. So just let your feet sway. You might want to rest on one side of your face, turn your chin to one side and relax your neck. Let your hips rock side to side. Good. Feet to center. Lengthen your legs, narrow your knees back in line with your hips. And if you choose, come back up into Sphinx pose on your forearms. Feel free to stay down on your chest. Right forearm turns parallel to the front edge of the mat. Bend your left knee, reach your left hand back for your left foot or ankle and gently squeeze in. Reach for your strap and loop it around your foot or ankle if you need to. And breathe. You might be here, you might be all the way down with your chest on the mat, or if your heel comes in and touches your glute, get the palm of your left hand on the top of your left foot, then rotate your left fingers to the left and forward as your left elbow pops up back behind you. And breathe. The deeper you breathe, the faster you let go of tension all through your body, but particularly here in your quads. Relax your jaw. Last 2 breaths. And gently let go of that left foot, stretch it out long. Bring your left arm around, lower your chest, turn your head or rest on your chin, bend your knees, widen your feet, let your feet sway side to side. And one more breath here. And feet to center, stretch your legs out straight, lengthen your legs, take your hands next to your side waist, press up to hands and knees. Good. And we're going to sit in a little mermaid position on our outer right hip with our feet to the left. Now this doesn't agree with everyone's body, so lots of choices. You could grab your blanket, you could fold it up and sit on your blanket so you have some height. If that's not enough, maybe your yoga block also in addition to your blanket, so you're sitting up nice and tall. You might not need any of that. You might be able to sit right on your mat. Whatever works for your body. If you absolutely can't sit this way, then you bend your right knee and stretch your left leg out straight. Okay? But if you can, feet are off to the left there. You've got your left ankle resting on top of the arch of your right foot. And bring your hands out by your hips. My prop's out of the way again. Good, rotate your right palm up. Inhale, take your right arm up to your right ear, and as you exhale, keep your left hand to the left, bend your left elbow and side stretch. And breathe deeply. So we've done a lot of work for our lower body, but of course your body works together as a whole. It's a unity. And so we're gonna release a little bit of tension here at the side of the waist, side of the spine before we move on. 2 more big breaths in and out here. And cartwheel yourself up. Inhale. Now as you exhale, turn your chest to the right. We're going to twist. Take your left hand to the outside of the right knee and just creep your right fingertips back behind you. Your left hip is going to want to hike up in the air. Try to keep it heavy. Rotate your chin back and over that right shoulder. Breathe deeply again. Lengthen up through your spine as you relax your shoulders down. One more breath. Good. Unwind from your twist. Lean back, stretch your feet out in front of you. You can move your props up to the side for a moment. Wiggle your knees around. And then bend both feet. So we're going to do that second side bend and twist in a moment, but we're going to take a moment here in Baddha Konasana, butterfly shape in the legs. So bend your knees. You might need to sit up on your blanket or prop again. Okay, so feel free, especially if your hips are tight. The best way to sit on your prop is right at the edge of it so that your pubic bone can drop off. So your sit bones are up on that blanket. That can help to give you your nice inward neutral low back curve again, so really healthy for your spine. But reach forward and take your thumbs into the arches of your feet and start to give them a massage. You can start up by the heels and work your way down toward the balls of the feet. You can take some time in the places that are tight for your body. Work your thumbs in there as deeply as you can. If you need to separate your feet a little bit to do that, fine. But while you're working on your feet, see if you can lengthen your side body. So lift, lift, lift your chest up and away from your pelvis. Get a lot of length, and then if you're not feeling an inner thigh stretch, hinge forward a little or a lot until you start to feel a stretch right here in your inner thighs. So you're breathing deeply, massaging your feet as you relax your inner thighs. Two more big breaths here. Good. If you've leaned forward, let go of your feet. Use the strength of your arms to walk yourself upright. Draw your knees in. Stretch your legs out long. Wiggle them out again. And then let's take that second side mermaid position if you can. So use your prop to sit up on if you need to, underneath your hips. You might need to build that prop up nice and tall. You might need to rearrange the way you're sitting, and it would be fine to have your left knee bent, stretch your right leg out long, or sit with crossed legs, or sit in any position that's comfortable. But if you can sit in this mermaid position, then both knees are bent, your feet are off to the right a little bit, and that right ankle or shin is in the arch of the left foot. Hands out by your hips, rotate your left palm up, inhale left arm up to the left ear. Exhale, walk your right hand to the right, bend the right elbow a little bit, drop the right shoulder and side bend. Breathe, lean some weight into that right hand. Stretch your left side open. Feel your ribs spreading apart as you inhale and then relaxing as you exhale. Deep, deep breaths. We got 2 more. And cartwheel up, inhale. And as you exhale, rotate your chest to the left. Take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Walk your left fingertips back behind you. Spread your collarbones apart, your breastbone apart. Let your shoulder blades move together a little bit, and then turn your chin back toward that left shoulder. And breathe deeply. Just notice if your right hip hiked up to come along with you. Just let it stay heavy. It's not going to touch the ground if you even are sitting down on your mat. Okay, don't worry about that. Lengthen up through your spine. Breathe deeply, deeply now. Chin parallel to the floor. Your neck should feel nice and long and relaxed. Last 2 breaths. Slowly unwind from your twist. Lean back, stretch your legs out in front of you. Either even yourself out on your prop or move it off to the side. One more time. Lengthen your legs and wiggle your knees out. And then we're going to turn sideways on your mat, and if you have that chair handy again, we're going to rest in Shavasana on that chair in a moment. So grab your chair and set it at the back edge of your mat, so what you consider the foot edge of your mat, with the seat of the chair facing you. We're going to do one more outer hip stretch before relaxation. But come on down onto your back behind that chair. And then pick your right foot up and cross your right ankle just above your left knee. So for a reclined pigeon pose, let your right knee open wide and flex your right ankle. And then notice if you have a stretch in your outer right hip. If you already have a stretch, don't do anything. Just relax and breathe. If you don't have a stretch, pick your left foot up and see if you can clasp behind your left thigh. And if you can't quite do that, you can rest your left foot on the seat of that chair, left shin on the seat of that chair, and work from there. You got a little bit of height, and now you can breathe into this stretch. So one of those 3 options, hanging on behind your thigh, or even the front of your shin if you're a little more flexible. Left foot up on the chair, or left foot down on the mat. Keep that right ankle gently flexed there. And now breathe. And I like to rock a little bit side to side. So you might find that rocking side to side feels too intense for you, and you can leave that out and just hold still. Breathe. So we worked our whole lower body. I mentioned that at the beginning of this class. Okay, what you do with your feet, it affects your legs, it affects your hips, it affects your spine. Healthy, strong, flexible feet can help to lead toward healthy, strong, flexible legs and hips. Your whole lower body. Just feel the effects. Your hips might be a little bit tired. A little bit warmer, too, than they were when we started. Last big breath here, in and out. Good. And set that left foot down or pull it off the chair. Uncross your legs, and we'll do the second side. Pick your left foot up. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Flex your foot. You can stay down if you already have a stretch in your hips, or pick your right foot up. You could rest it on the seat of your chair, or grab hold behind your right thigh or the front of the shin. Left ankle flex. That's important, so that strong ankles help to protect your knee. That's why we flex the foot in pigeon, to protect the knee. Then relax your upper back and head. Breathe into your stretch. And if a little rock side to side helps you to relax more quickly, then rock side to side. Most importantly, breathe. It's those deep, full breaths that do the best work of helping you to relax. Couple more breaths on this side. Last one. Good. Set your right foot down, uncross your legs. And now we're going to use that chair to elevate our feet for relaxation. So scoot yourself as close to the chair as you need to. If you have a folding chair like I do, where the back is partially open, you'll slide your feet through that opening. If you have a different kind of chair and you need to rearrange yourself, or you have a couch, or whatever you have is fine. If you don't have a chair, you can just roll up your blanket and slide it behind your knees so your legs are just a tiny bit elevated. But get your hips as close to the chair as you need to so that your knees are roughly stacked over your hips. And if your chair, like mine, is feeling a little bit cold on your legs or uncomfortable, then you might use your towel or blanket and pad it. Your body needs to be comfortable and warm in order to fully relax. That's important. So take whatever steps you need to make sure that your legs are comfortable. But with your legs elevated in the air here, we're going to give the heart a little bit of a rest and let some of that blood that we accumulated in our legs with this practice start to return to the heart, so the tissues in our legs, the cells in our legs, get a little refresher. So now either rest your hands on your belly or take your arms out slightly wide for Shavasana with your palms up. Close your eyes. If you need a little pillow behind your head, find something to support your head with. Then close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. And as you breathe, begin to watch your breath coming in through your nose, moving back out through your nose. And feel your breath moving down into your lungs. Feel the way your chest expands, your belly expands. And feel your breath moving back out of your lungs. Feel your chest soften, feel your belly soften. And then feel the weight of your body as it rests on the floor. Feel the heaviness in your hips. A little bit of extra weight there at the back of your pelvis as your thigh bones root down into your hip sockets with your legs elevated. And as your hips begin to relax, feel that relaxation start to extend down through your legs, all the way into your feet and toes. Feel the soles of your feet relaxing. Feel the joints of your toes relaxing. all the little muscles around your ankles relaxing. And feel your shins and calves relaxing. Feel your knees relaxing. Feel your thighs relaxing. And feel the muscles deep inside your pelvis, your pelvic floor muscles relaxing. And once again, feel your belly rising and falling with your breath. And feel that outer shell of your belly relaxing. And more deeply, feel the contents of your abdomen relaxing. And let your lower back relax. Feel your mid-back relax. Your upper back and your shoulder blades relax. Feel the tops of your shoulders relax. And then your arm bones, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists and hands and fingers. Come back up into your upper back. Feel your back ribs rising and falling with your breath. And feel your side ribs rising and falling with your breath. Feel your front ribs rising and falling with your breath. Feel your chest relaxing. Feel your throat relaxing. Feel your neck relaxing. Bring your attention back to the feeling of your breath in your nostrils. And feel the breath nice and cool as it comes in through your nose. Nice and warm as it moves back out through your nose. Feel the muscles of your face relaxing. Feel the hinge of your jaw relaxing. Feel the bridge of your nose relaxing. Feel your forehead relaxing. Feel your scalp relaxing. Feel your mind becoming as relaxed as your body. Anytime you notice your mind wandering, gently guide it back to your breath. And now begin to deepen your inhalations, making your in-breaths bigger and brighter and longer than your out-breaths. Gently breathe awareness into your hands and feet. Move your fingers, move your toes. Begin to slide your feet toward the edge of the chair. And if you've got the space and you can gently push that chair forward and out of the way, go ahead and do that so you can stretch your legs out long. If you don't have the space, you might need to just scoot your hips to the side so you can get your legs off to an angle. Once your feet can come down to your mat and your legs can stretch out long, take your arms overhead and reach your fingertips back, your toes forward. Take a big inhalation. Sigh it out through your mouth. Bend your knees, bring your arms down. Roll over to one side. Support your head with a blanket or your arm or a block for a moment. Rest on your side there in a fetal position. Take one more slow, deep breath in and out. One hand at a time, get your hands underneath you, walk yourself up sideways to a seat. And once you're up, take a moment, pause, stretch your arms out wide, take a big inhalation. Exhale, hands to your heart. Namaste. Thanks for practicing with me today.